With the 12th pick of the 2026 MLB Draft, the Los Angeles Angels select Jared Grindlinger, an outfielder from Huntington Beach High School, Huntington Beach, California. The St. Louis Cardinals have the next pick.
Wow, and this is interesting. Jared Grindlinger was a two-way prospect. He's 17 years old. Unbelievable numbers in high school as a pitcher, but he's being drafted as an outfielder. Dan O'Dowd, what do you think of that?
I love this kid, honestly. I mean, it's, again, with Mo making decisions, way different than what the Angels have done in the past. And Cole, we're seeing this kid. This kid is an elite left-handed pitching prospect. Oh, by the way, he can really hit. The power's not quite there yet, but the bat-to-ball skills, advanced understanding of the strike zone, uses the entire field. Harold, you've talked about years sending kids out, not taking away their two-way capability. For me, this is the prime example. This guy's got the capability of getting to the big leagues doing either of those two things. Why not both?
Well, the last I knew, the Angels, weren't they the team Ohtani went to and kind of broke the mold with? So, hey, this may be something that right place for him. He's just right down the street in Huntington Beach, California. Cole, what's your thoughts on this?
And that's exactly what we were trying to say. These scouts can drive down the street to see him. So I'm sure they were at every single one of his games, the area codes, all the events they could actually see because of the high school games. But a true athlete, anybody that can play both ways, I mean, I faced Ohtani. It was not fun. This guy, they're going to see the Angels to see what they can do with him. And also, as a backup plan, if the hitting doesn't work, you go right to pitching.
Yeah.
You can get him right to being a pitcher.
Yeah, I'm a bit disappointed. I was hoping to hear his name called as a two-way player. Carlos Collazo, your thoughts on Grindlinger being drafted as strictly an outfielder?
Yeah, it's fascinating because I do think he's one of the better legitimate two-way players in the class. But I think what we're seeing in the theme for this year's draft is teams really seem to have a lot of comfort with players that make a lot of contact. If you look at all the hitters that we've seen in the last 10 picks or so, none of them have swing and miss issues. I think what stood out for Grindlinger for most model-heavy teams were that he was an elite contact hitter throughout the summer. He barely swung and missed at all. It was almost shocking to see how much contact he made. So if you're buying into a player's ability to make a lot of contact, he's got a great frame. He's extremely young. You can dream on the power to come. But to me, that's what stands out. It's also a little interesting to see the Angels finally taking a high school player. They've been so college-heavy the last few years. This feels like the range that we maybe expected him to go in, but that contact trend we're seeing in this year's draft really stands out to me right now.
Yeah, Carlos, it's interesting because, Dan, John Mozeliak sort of parachuting in right before the draft. We are going to be following closely the decisions they make, and his former organization, the St. Louis Cardinals, are up next. I don't know if you can connect the dots to picks that he's made with this team to his new team, the Angels.
Well, I think you can. I think there's a history that Mo probably took with him to the Angels, but I think he probably freed up the scouting staff to say, hey, we're going to take the best player available, and we're not going to be afraid to take a high school player. I'm not sure that that was in place prior to this.
It's really interesting because we've talked to John Mozeliak an awful lot. What an undertaking to get, I mean, they work on the draft year-round. To jump right in the fire like this, and he goes with Grindlinger.
And I think Dan's right. You got to, at this point, trust the people that have been in the room. You have your ideas, you have your plans, but they really did have an idea of the work they put in to go ahead and let them execute. I'm sure they had to explain their ways, and he let them have the freedom to do that.
Yeah, he was there in 2024 when the Cardinals selected J.J. Weatherholt.